Hey everybody, welcome to a Robnostication for December 2022 into January 2023. I'm going to take a look at what's happened in this roller coaster ride of a year and let you know what I think is going to happen as we enter into 2023 and beyond. Will it be a crazy year for real estate? Let's talk about it on the other side. Hey, thanks for sticking with me, everybody. If you would take a quick moment to subscribe to my channel. I'm Las Vegas Realtor Rob Howe, and if you want to know more about real estate in Las Vegas, well, you found a great source for that right here. So please subscribe to my channel. I'll give you 1, 2, 3 seconds to get that done. I hope you did. There's a lot more where this came from, and if you look back at my Robnostications through this year, you would realize that this year has been quite the roller coaster ride. We started off the year just absolutely gunning out the gates, and historic price increases and activity in our real estate market. Through the spring is where everything went to the absolute highs that have never been seen before in Las Vegas, Nevada, especially as quickly as that happened, and really around the country, of course, if you know. So early in the year, as there was talk of interest rate hikes, which I've been saying all along, I was sort of hoping those hikes would happen sooner, like in 2021, late 2021. But as they were being talked about, and it was sort of, the Fed was talking about finally acknowledging that we have the inflation that was happening, and they wanted to deal with that, and their tool was going to be interest rates. So that's been the story of the year, as you may know. Starting out though, it was just gangbusters. And I'm going to talk about some predictions that I know I did not get right. I know I got a lot right, but there was one prediction that I made, which was that we might see the median home price stay actually where we were in the plus for the year. But it looks like it will not be that for the median single family. Overall, real estate may have a slight plus in Las Vegas, Nevada, but the median home price will be below where it started out in January of last year. And we know that because the numbers came out and we dropped another 9,000 and change in our value. I did, of course, predict that that was going to happen. Pretty easy prediction that we were going to have lose a little more on the single family median home price. And so I think we went from 440 to just a little above 430, and that's where we are now. I'll go ahead and make a quick Robnostication. Another one that should be fairly easy, and you could probably see coming, that we will have another value drop from December to January. It's a slow time of year traditionally anyway. We're going to see that slow activity along with these higher rates that have been here continue to affect what sells in Las Vegas. And that means that the prices have to come down for buyers to be able to afford the properties. And that's exactly what's happening. Again, the only thing that's really affecting us is that we had such very high prices, and now we've had such rapid rate movements. I've been saying that over and over. Might be a broken record to you here, but that's where we are. And so the median home price came down. I think it'll be coming down again in January. We also had, what was the inventory like? Well, the inventory ticked up to 4.8 months of inventory. Typically, buyer's market is at 6 months of inventory, but we are clearly in a buyer's market. The good news is that inventory is not piling up a mile high. It's because most homeowners are in a position where they don't want to sell right now. It's not a great time for them. They don't feel like getting involved in that unless they have the need to. And there are those that will have the need. There are always those that have to buy and sell no matter what the market is. So that's kind of what's left out there, is a smaller portion of buyers that are active, and certainly a smaller portion of sellers that are active. And this is good because you're not seeing massive inventory pile up. I thought by now we would have 6 months of inventory. Well, we're obviously 1.2 months behind what I thought we would be at. I thought we'd have 6 months by now. Again, this is good. I'm glad I'm wrong. because I just thought naturally that the inventory would pile up a little quicker than it has. And that's because there have been enough buyers to also suck up the good deals that are out there. Sellers that are out there selling, you can see it's pretty obvious that the ones that are selling, the properties that are going under contract, are being offered at a deal, at least compared to where we were. And the sellers that want to get it done are doing that. We had things like the $1 listing, and we have listings that are coming on well below what would be considered market. And buyers are not going to balk at that. They can't resist taking that deal if it makes sense to them. That is happening still, and properties are being sold, but at a much lesser clip. So we only had about 1,500 single-family resident properties sold. I expect both of those trends to continue into from December to January. We're going to stay low volume as far as the amount of sales that would happen. Again, traditionally this time of the year that would happen anyway, but now with these new pressures on our market, people are holding off on buying, so that's slowing the pace of sales, right? And I mean, I got people telling me, you know, that some of you will say and have commented that you've heard,
it's just no good time to buy. Nobody should be buying right now. Well,
that's a half truth. It is true in some ways, and it is not true in another way. If you have the need, if you don't want to rent, and it makes sense for you to be able to get into one of these properties that is a deal, that you can get the closing costs paid and be able to buy down your rate and get a good price on the property, and it makes sense for you, and you don't want to be a renter, well, then you are still smart to buy in my mind. And now maybe some investors too have to consider that this could be the very best time to be an investor as far as purchasing a property in the next few months. Now, some say there's going to be a whole lot more, you know, dragging down of this market. Right now, I don't see it. I actually see positive signs that, other than the fact that the Fed and how long they continue these heightened rates for, other than that factor, that I think that, you know, there is a possibility for this to be the lowest point in the market, which would be traditional December, January, going into February. And then we start to see some positivity happening in spring, in March, which is what a lot of people are hoping for. I don't know right now if that's going to happen because it's so hinged upon what happens with interest rates. And so here's my prediction on interest rates. It's a pretty easy one, but it's recently been slightly complicated because of the good news on the job side of things. When there was increase in jobs, when there's an increase in pay that people are getting, that's not what the Fed wants. I know it sounds crazy, but that's not what they want. And so they may feel that they're not getting enough out of these rate increases. They do have to account for lag, though, that this may lag, and that this time of year there's going to be more hiring, and there is competition to get these people hired, so they're getting higher wages. That lag could be very important to understand, and going forward, that the Fed doesn't want to overshoot that. They're basically signaling a 50 basis points, a 0.5% increase in the interest rate the week this video will be out. So that's what you can expect, 50 basis point, but there has been some talk that they may go stronger. I would be surprised, but at the same time, the information as far as it being, what I've been hearing makes sense as well, that they may not feel like, the Fed may not feel like it's getting what it wants just yet. I think it will be overshooting if it goes higher than 50 basis points. So I don't want it to be any higher than 50 basis points. As a matter of fact, I would prefer that it's zero, that they don't do any more movements. And it's not just for my business. It's for what I think makes sense in the long term. And, not overshooting things, not getting too strong here, because next year is going to be, as we go into January, is going to be pivotal. As I've been saying, each month that goes by and new information that comes in is so important to kind of understand what may or may not be happening next in our market in Las Vegas. To recap this year, it has been an absolute roller coaster ride. Unreal, really, that we went up so much in spring, and now we've basically given back all those winnings. It's like it's like somebody at a poker machine won and just sits there and puts it all back in. All right, that's what's happened right now. But the good news is there was winnings in that person's pocket already from the year prior, if you will, and they were already ahead. They just decided to blow what they won, and that's kind of what it feels like this year, is that what we won, is, if you will, in the market went all back in. But what happened in 2021 and 2020 was already a lot of equity that was added to our market. So as long as we're not sliding back so far, the median home price was, I think, $345 in 2020. We don't want to see anywhere near going back to that. Now we might dip down to as low as the low 400s before this is all said and done. And certainly, if there were other shoes to drop, as far as economically, that
people have been scaring the daylights out of each other about.
If those shoes were to drop, that could affect things more. But I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing actually some good positive signs. Things like people talking about wanting to come to Vegas. When they did a poll of a number of different areas in the country, that 25% of people are considering Las Vegas as their landing spot. That's a big deal. We have grown up. This is a big city now. This is still a very attractive, price-wise area to be in. I think it makes sense to see rentals sort of flatten out. We don't want to see people not being able to rent properties for at least somewhat of a reasonable price. And if our prices come down a little bit and then the market sort of gets to a healthy place and we get reasonable interest rates, Vegas is looking very good. As long as other things aren't really, really strapped economically wise, where people are losing jobs, en masse and things like that, I think we're in a great shape here. I think that even when we talk about the investor bubble that people have mentioned, those investors that might have bought in the last year, yeah, they're not excited right now. They're probably taking a hit. But if they've been in the investor game for long, they also won a lot in the years prior. So, they have the ability to change their tactics and to change their business model as far as how they want to go ahead. And what I've seen right now is those investors are just looking for suckers. They're looking for that you got to move and you're going to go ahead and pawn shop your house. Do not pawn shop your house, folks. Sell it properly on the market and get the money that it's worth. Do not pawn shop your house. That's what I consider these iBuyers at right now. They are still active. People are acting like they've all lost their shorts and they're getting away. Sure, they're not going to go in there and dive in and pay, overpay for properties. But if they can get a deal, if they can get you to pawn shop your house, they're looking to do it. Don't do that. Don't allow friends to do that. Friends don't let friends use iBuyers, all right? Remember that. I've been saying it for years now. So going ahead, I think we're going to have a slow December to January, which would make sense. And we're going to keep watching for what the new information that's coming out will be. What will happen after we go through the holidays here? What will happen in January to retail and to other places where they've hired on? Will they let a lot of people go? Will we start to see a pullback in the jobs market? That will affect how the Fed wants to go forward. I actually hope those things happen rapidly so that by springtime that we can start seeing some more positive things in the real estate market as far as better interest rates and things like that. I don't know that you can hope for that. I think right now they're probably looking at getting these rates to a certain point and holding them at that point. I will continue to say, as I have throughout the year, that in America, the economy cannot survive without a relatively robust real estate market. So at some point, if this is to drag to a halt the real estate market, the Fed has overdone what they're doing and using the only tool that it seems like they have in their toolbox right now, to the point where they actually cause more pain than what they're shooting for here, would be devastating. I hope that we don't see that, and I don't think we will, but it's remains to be seen. So I'm going to keep informing you. I hope you've enjoyed this month's Robnostication. I've got a lot more where that comes from. I think 2023 is going to be one heck of a year to talk about and to advise people about what I'm seeing happen in the Las Vegas real estate market. Again, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I certainly would enjoy if you did, and I think you will enjoy what I have to tell you as time goes on. I've got a lot more coming out of this mind along the way. So have a great day. Have happy holidays. You'll probably see me one more time before Christmas. But if you don't see me before then, have a great holiday and enjoy this new year that we have coming up. All right, everybody. Have a great day.